Hey, what's up, Reefers? Let's talk about my Yasha Gobies and candy cane pistol shrimp. So I have always been a huge fan of the gobies and pistol shrimp relationship. In my previous tank, I had a pair of yellow watchman goby and a tiger pistol shrimp. They're a little bit bigger. And this time around, I wanted something a little bit more exotic. And Yasha Goby is relatively new to the aquarium trade compared to the other gobies, so they're a little bit more sought after. And I really like their coloration because they really remind me of those Japanese, those like ancient Japanese traditional dance characters with the white and red face. So I really like that. And the pistol shrimp, the candy cane, or I think it's called Randall Pistol Shrimp, they seem to match the coloration of the Yasha Goby with the red and white and clear. So I think they make a terrific pair. Look at this little guy back there being busy. So typically, in terms of Yasha Gobies, at least in the past, I've seen a lot of people just keep one goby with one pistol shrimp. But I really wanted a pair. I love pairs of fish. So for my tank, I initially ordered a pair of the Yasha Goby, but unfortunately on the first night, the female of the pair jumped. And ever since then, I've been kind of looking on Live Aquaria for them to sell individuals. But the problem with individuals is that they most of the time they cannot determine the sex because while the wild caught ones, the male has a black marking on the pectoral fins, the younger ones, or the captive bred ones, they do not have that black marking. So that makes distinguishing the male and female a little bit tougher. So what I ended up doing is I purchased another couple, a pair of Yasha Gobies from Live Aquaria, and I kind of just threw them all in the tank and see who pairs up. Ultimately, the female paired up with my original male, the male being the larger one back right here. And right now, the new male that got dumped is living in the refugium and waiting for my friend to take him home. So you see that the pistol shrimp is really busy going in and out of the tunnel, the barrel, and I think the barrel actually goes really deep. Let me zoom out on my tank. I've seen the fish over here and on the other side of the rockwork emerging over there. So I suspect the barrel is actually a huge network under this rock, although recently they have mainly been hanging out at this entrance right there. So I'll just call this a main entrance. And you see that they really found a nice spot because the top of the entrance is a pretty solid piece of rock that I'm sure won't collapse. Now, what's so interesting about this relationship between the fish and shrimp is that obviously the shrimp is busy digging a tunnel, and the fish are kind of standing guard and waiting for the food. You notice that whenever the shrimp comes out, the shrimp will try to keep an antenna on one of the fish. And when the fish senses danger, usually it kind of flicks its tail really quick to indicate to the shrimp that something is coming, you better go back in there. And the shrimp will kind of dive back into the barrel with the fish follow close behind. So it's a really interesting relationship, although I have not seen that behavior too often because my tank is relatively calm. Not too many things spook the fish. In fact, these fish are super bold. It seems like they have no fear of human at all. I would have my hand in the tank working, whether it's scraping glass or like placing corals, and these guys would just kind of swim right up to my hands. So unfortunately, I cannot really show you the oh, look at the little fish going backing into the barrel. But in terms of feeding the gobies, right? These guys, even though they're small, they were relatively easy to feed. For the first couple days, I'll say 3 or 4 days when I first got them. So remember, I got them in 2 goes. First is the original pair, and then I got the new pair. For the first 3 or 4 days, I would dose the tank with Cyclopses, and they have a really strong smell that the fish like, all the animals like, and coral likes too. So the fish will go after those, even though those food are tiny. They're not as filling. So they'll go after those. They're not filling, which is fine, because I just wanted a feeding response. So I got that. After 3 or 4 days, I will start mixing in mysis shrimps. And frozen mysis, I have 2 brands. I have the Sally's and I have the PE mysis. The PE being much larger and more nutritious. But I started with the Sally first because Sally is a little bit smaller, almost half the size of the PE mysis. And I noticed that they do not break apart as much as the PE mysis. So there's not as much junk left over when I feed the tank. So I'll feed I'll continue to feed the Cyclopses and start mixing in with frozen mysis from Sally's. And usually these fish start just gulping down the mysis because they're a little bit meatier. So I will feed mysis and Cyclopsy maybe every other day at this point, just to make sure they get some meatier food. And at the same time, I don't pollute the tank water too much. This whole time, I will continue to feed my other fish, like these guys, my prime reef fish flakes, which I really like. They're relatively nutritious compared to other flake food. They're my go-to brand for flakes, prime reef. It's like a purple container. So I noticed that usually by the 2nd or 3rd week, these gobies will start going after the flake food. It's usually when they kind of get used to the tank, they're comfortable trying things out. They'll start going after those flake and they start eating them. So now usually I don't have to feed Cyclopses or frozen mysis. These guys will do fine on just regular prime reef flake. Now, I have not seen the pistol shrimp eat. People say that at night they may come out to hunt for food, or they may just be eating the fish poop. I don't know. But so far, it's doing okay without me forcing food down the barrel. But yeah, I'm really glad that these guys paired up, because at one point one of the fish is living on the other end, and I one up here. And if you are trying to add a pistol shrimp to your tank, you can help it out by kind of like digging a little tunnel under some of the rockwork first, and then try to release the shrimp inside the tunnel. For my first pistol shrimp, I made the mistake of just kind of like releasing it just out in the open, right? And then, oh my gosh, my green clown goby, let me see if we can find that guy. My green clown goby, somewhere in there, which is kind of like the size of this guy. It's a tiny little guy. I thought it's like the most docile guy, but no, he went after the pistol shrimp. I had to, oh, there, look at this guy. He is like the hawkfish of my tank. He went after that pistol shrimp bad. I had to chase it away. So don't make the same mistake I did. Kind of start a barrel first and then release the shrimp into the barrel. How cool is this, right? So besides the clownfish and anemone relationship, I think the gobies and pistol shrimp relationship is also one of my favorites. That is a little bit more common and achievable in a reef tank. And again, there are many different types of gobies as well as pistol shrimp pair. The only pistol shrimp that's kind of hit or miss in terms of gobies pairing is I think it's called a Japanese pistol shrimp. They are the huge red pistol shrimp that sometimes are known to actually eat the goby. So just be careful when you're buying pistol shrimp and goby, have them pairing up. And usually the more common pairs would be like this: the Yasha Gobies and the candy cane, or the Randall. And the yellow Washman goby and the tiger pistol shrimp is another really popular pair. And they also look fantastic because the yellow Washman goby, sometimes they're like a mustard yellow, so they stand out a lot too in a reef tank. So you see how the pistol shrimp stays really close to the goby? Because the pistol shrimp is almost blind, the eyesight is really poor. And before my gobies found the pistol shrimp in this tank, they would just hide in random holes and looking miserable. They're all curled up They're not really like completely tucked away. They're just tucked under crevices. But you can tell they're so much happier after finding the pistol shrimp and pairing up. They're so much more active and out in the open. It seems a lot more comfortable. So if you do plan to keep a goby, like Yasha Gobies especially, that kind of tend to be a little bit more reclusive, I would highly recommend you get a pistol shrimp as well, in order to see them both comfortable. And yes, Yasha Gobies have been successfully captive bred, actually recently. So I think in the not too far future, we may start seeing captive bred Yasha Gobies hitting the market, which is great news. I can sit here and watch them all day. And some people say that the pistol shrimp usually collapse the entrance to the tunnel in the morning. Oh, sorry, at night. They collapse the tunnel entrance at night to seal the shrimp as well as the fish in, and in the morning it will dig open the entrance again to let everybody out. This is for protection over the night. I guess I have not been up that late, so I have not seen this activity. To me, I feel like entrance seems to always be open, but who knows? But that is supposedly what they do. The pistol shrimp would collapse the tunnel once everybody's in. Alright, this is just like a quick general info about the Yasha Gobies and the Candy King or Randalls Pistol Shrimp. Another fantastic relationship in a home aquarium. I'm gonna sit here for a while. So, talk to you guys later.